It's great to be back at the U, hanging out in the weight room. It's a beautiful place to work out, all kind of barb. What the heck is this doing here? These guys don't know where to put it. I've always wanted to put this thing on, but I'm not allowed to because I didn't get a pick or a fumble recovery. But this is the original turnover chain, and I got to get it back where it belongs.
An ACC football road trip rolls into Miami. Coach has got the unique tradition he had there with the turnover chain, but there's no city in our country like Miami. Look at that. That is the campus here at Coral Gables.
Paradise.
Paradise, paraíso, whatever language you want to say it in. It is amazing here in Coral Gables, and also the facility we're in now, too. The Carol Sofer Indoor Practice Facility just opened in 2018.
Right.
The house that Coach Richt built has put them on par with any program in the country. Coach, it is outstanding to be here with you. Coach Mark Richt, I'm Dallin Cuff. You played here, you coached here, you helped build this thing,
Yes.
you were instrumental in it and helped change this program, the trajectory of it.
Right.
But what was it like emotionally for you to be back here and we saw practice today? Just what was the emotion?
I was holding it together pretty good. I was more excited, more amped up just to come and see everybody and see the building again and how it's progressed. But then it got a little emotional when I got a text this morning, Coach Diaz asking me if I would speak to the team. And I don't know why that got to me, but shed a few tears and try to get my composure and get ready for the day. But it's been an awesome day, just hugging a lot of people that I've seen in the past and recruited and just people you work with.
Yeah. I mean, I think I know why you shed some tears. That's an emotional thing. That's a special thing, and you helped build this place. You see people right now, the guys dapping you up. As you mentioned, you recruited these guys. You're the mayor here. Everybody wanted to see you coming in here, and rightfully so. So it's been a fun day with you. It's been an interesting day. Let's dive into this program a little bit. And this team we're talking about.
Right.
Veteran leadership, Heisman quarterback is a candidate, Derrick King. Right. But he's coming off an ACL injury. So when you look at the key storylines, does it start with King?
Yeah, number one, it's absolutely the health of Derrick. You know, Kenny, it's one thing to get the okay to play. It's another thing to be able to play at the speed at which you're used to playing and doing it the way you used to do it. I mean, obviously he can scramble and make plays. He can cross the line of scrimmage and get first downs. They have play-action passes off a quarterback run that not many people do with Coach Lashley as the coordinator. They'd have people wide open running down the field. So can he do all the things that he did in the past is one of the biggest questions of the season.
I think we all hope he can do that.
He's very confident right
He
now.
is very confident. He says he's been 100%. We'll have him coming up on the show here in just a few minutes. But what's also interesting is the fact that first game is against Alabama.
Right.
So it's not just getting hit. It's against a bunch of dudes will be in the league. So
by big dudes.
Yeah, that is tossed right into the deep end.
That's
that said, he's got to have the Hogs up front, always get overlooked, but they got to protect any quarterback, particularly a guy of his skill set, although can run it. You want to take care of him. What do you think about this O-line that is very veteran, one of the most in the country coming back?
Yeah, a lot of starts in this group and a bunch of guys that have kind of been paying their dues and catching a little grief. You know, a guy like Zion Nelson, the left tackle, played as a true freshman and gave up I don't know how many sacks in that first game against Florida. Yeah. You know, so now he's a full-grown man ready to play ball. And Corey Gaynor, the center, who is now the leader of the group, and other guys like DJ Scaife and you know, guys that have just been there, done it, and have done it together. So they're going to be a huge key, not only to give Derrick time to throw the football, but to give those backs space to run it.
They're the second most experienced team in the unit in the country, offensive line coming back, with the exception of Minnesota in terms of starts. So they got a lot of guys that have done it, but they've learned through some rough times, and hopefully they can put it together at this critical year with a lot of veteran leadership. The last piece I want to ask you about, the third key storyline, defensive line. This has become a bit of an institution here. Great edge rushers, guys that get after the quarterback. They lost some key ones. Do you think they can replace them?
Well, you know, year after year after year after year, even during the time I was here, there was guys that were running through the program that became high draft picks, guys that could rush the passer. You know, Joe Jackson, Jonathan Garvin, and other great ones that came along, you know, just recently. Phillips left, Roche left, Greg Rousseau left. And so, but, you know, all those guys are running those at one time, too. So I think they got some guys waiting in the wings to become knowns. And but right now, not everybody knows about them.
Zach McLeod, maybe one of those guys, and we'll talk to him in a little bit. A guy you know quite a bit about, another one of those guys you recruited, a sixth-year guy. So we'll have him coming up.
Interesting thing on him, he weighed 200 pounds as a freshman.
Yeah.
He weighs 260 now. So. And
he looks every bit of it. He looks great. So we'll hear from him coming up in just a bit. Also, All Access is something we've done on the ACC Network. It's been outstanding in recent years. They got it here right now. Our group's been embedded for almost 30 days. They've done a fantastic job at debuts just shortly 8 o'clock Eastern.
Did they all sign up for that?
The players liked it. The players have been into it, and I don't know if they've signed up for 30 days in Miami. I would, but I think
I'm talking about the crew.
I think the whole crew would. I think they would.
Yeah.
I said I would, but we'll find out. Let's take a look at this trailer right now.
Miami football, what do you think right now? They got a little small taste of winning. Like, they want to make all the youth fans across the world, they want to make them proud. And I think we have the chance to do that.
If we compete in this room, if we say, I'm going all in, I'm giving everything I got every day in practice, as it's my first ever day in college, that's the Miami that everyone around the country fears.
Off we go! Off we go! Got a way to run! Hey, Garvin! Where's two? Now break! Now break! Now break! Now break! Oh!
Miami Heat crazy.
It bakes out there, man. It's really hot. It's really humid. You can't run from it. You can't hide from it.
Oh, we got two. Cramp Monster got a second one.
Everything about Miami has hinged on the health of Derrick King's knee.
Can't wait to see that tonight. Debuts tonight, 8 o'clock. Soon as we're done, great content, great music choices there, too, representing Miami football. With that said, let's bring in the head coach, Manny Diaz. Thank you so much for your time here. Interesting crew you have, a lot of talent, but a very veteran team. A lot of experienced guys in different meeting rooms. What's that been like for you to coach a team that's this veteran with this much potential?
It's really unique, and I know it's true across the country with so many super seniors. It's like having an extra class of guys on your team. But since the day we came back to work in January, those guys have set the tone. They're back for a reason. They want to win, and everybody else is kind of falling in line behind them.
Coach, I know Saturday you had your second scrimmage, your last big scrimmage before you play a ball game. Tell us a little bit about that format, and then also, you had yesterday off, and then today was a different kind of practice. Maybe enlighten everybody about how that went.
Yeah, so we went big on Saturday. We kind of called it our NFL preseason, the third preseason game back when they used to play 4. This is the game you really want to, get up and running and have all your guys firing at all cylinders. We had a good scrimmage. Yesterday we just came in, watched the film, lifted weights. So today was sort of a bridge practice between fall camp and Alabama prep. We worked on you don't need it till you need it practice. You remember that, right? Taking a slow safety and onside kick and Hail Mary defense and four-minute offense and just all those.
I got one question.
What's that?
I might have give you one more to hit before the game. Let them score.
We did surrender defense.
Surrender defense.
That hurts my heart.
Down by 1 or 2.
That hurts my heart. But we actually showed them the clip of Indiana Penn State last year, and that was a big deal for both sides. Indiana played surrender, and Penn State didn't kneel down. That you have to practice that on offense too, not taking the surrender. So. You don't need it till you need it.
It's funny you say that because that's exactly. I mean, Coach, we're upstairs watching. Coach said, "This is you don't need it till you need it." Practice, and of course, let's disciple repeating it. That's good stuff. It's going down. That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
In terms of Derrick King, everybody obviously we always come back to quarterbacks, but he's a Heisman candidate. He's a special dude, as we were just talking about. How have you managed his recovery with his knee and his reps and his minutes and rehab?
Yeah, we can go back to him anytime you want. He's a fun guy to talk about. Yeah, there was a fine line because obviously he had to knock some rust off from not having spring ball and not getting to throw full speed with his wideouts in the summer, even though he was throwing some with those guys. We've also got 2 really impressive young quarterbacks behind him, and Van Dyke and Garcia. So I think Red last year did a really good job of managing, a couple days of heavy throwing, maybe one day with lighter throwing, let the other guys go. But I think Derrick, he had something to prove, not just to himself, but to everybody on that field. I think the very first day we went out there, he took off and ran intentionally, and he cut off that leg intentionally, I think, to prove to everybody that not only am I back, but I'm back at 100%.
Yeah, when he was sitting here, he was very confident in his knee, talking about that and the rehab that he put in. But I'm going to change gears just a little bit, talk about defense. And, of course, most everybody, the common fans, like, what are you going to do for edge rushers after losing the great guys that you lost in Phillips and Roche, of course, Rousseau the year before? So where's that answer going to come from?
it's going to come. I think we like the guys we have, and I think in the scrimmages they've asserted themselves. You know, you remember when you were here when we lost Chad Thomas and Trent Harris, and then it was Joe Jackson, then it was Jonathan Garvin. We've lost a lot of productive defensive ends.
I forgot about
that. And so our guys, you know, I mean, that's part of college football. They want to be the next guy to you know, we've had a defensive end with 8.5 sacks, I think, every year since we got here in 2016, and we're only one of 2 teams in the country to do that. So they didn't come here to not do that. You know, they came here, they want to be the next guy. So Jafari Harvey's had a great camp. You know, DeAndre Johnson, we brought in from Tennessee, is doing really well. Zach McLeod probably had the best scrimmage I've seen him at Miami, regardless of position, this past Saturday. And then Chance Williams, a young guy who we think's got a lot of potential. So the best defenses I've been around is when we can come at you with 8 guys up front. We're relentless with our effort and our pursuit, and I think we have that this year.
Great.
In terms of Alabama, September 4th, talking to some of your guys, they said they've been thinking about it basically every day since the season ended. Is that the same for you, or do you have to have a broader perspective on approaching this season?
I think both can be true.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I mean, you can have a broader perspective, and obviously you see where you want the team to be in December. And I think every good team, as you know, you want to be playing your best ball in November. That's what they remember. But you can't go a day without thinking about those guys, you know, and you just pop on the film, and you know their film speaks for itself. I mean, they're obviously the most talented team in the country, extremely well coached. But a great challenge for our program. I think everybody views it that way, and I think now, tomorrow, I think there'll be a lot of energy as we begin our preparation schematically for Alabama.
You know, you want to be in mid-season form when you play conference play. Well, you guys play 4 non-conference games before you get into league play. How do you like that? The looks of that?
Yeah, well, we better be in mid-season form on September 4th. Right? You know, I always say we're the only sport that we don't get an exhibition game, right? We're the only one that starts, you know, right off the bat. But I do think that gives us a chance, especially some of the young players that we have. You know, we do come home for 3 weeks after Alabama to get a chance to, you know, get some young guys, play in front of our home fans, which we haven't done in over a year. But we know we jump right into the conference hot and heavy with you know, UVA. You know, Bronco Mendenhall's always got a great team, and then everyone knows Carolina and Chapel Hill after that. So we got to be ready to go. Obviously September 4th, but our league schedule comes right at us hot and heavy as well.
Absolutely. That North Carolina game, middle of October. I know a lot of eyes on that already, but a lot of work before that. Alabama, September 4th. Manny Diaz, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Coming up next, we will have the quarterback we talked about, the Heisman candidate. Derrick King will be sitting in that seat. We'll talk about his rehab, his knee, and his leadership. That's next. Took a hold of my soul, but I made it back, bringing it back to the roots. Back to an ACC football road trip. We're in Coral Gables. Take a look back at Derrick King's first season with Miami. The gunslinger took South Beach by storm, proved he belonged, posting a season QBR of 78, the best by any U quarterback since the metric was first tracked in 2004. King showed his dual threat ability and was responsible for 27 of the Canes' touchdowns last season, tied for 3rd most in the ACC. Now, unfortunately, he tore his ACL in the Cheez-It Bowl against Oklahoma State, marked an end to a great campaign for the Signal Color. However, he has been rehabbing nonstop and practicing with all signs pointing to him suiting up to start the season.
Bike first?
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes?
Let's go maybe like 3-4 minutes, and then
Okay.
we'll pop through the mobility stuff.
All right. Sometimes. I be trying to.
King on the move, and he is upended around the 10-yard line. King kind of clutching at that knee.
That's hard to see, just as a fan of college football.
I felt an initial pain, and then, you know, the pain kind of went away. My first thought was like, maybe I'm over-exaggerating. And I got back to the training room inside the locker room, and it was a whole bunch of tests, and then, you know, it came out to be torn ACL meniscus.
I mean, it's been tough, you know, everyday grind since I had surgery, but like you got to find a way like to get wins every day, right? So you got to find a way like to reach new goals. It felt good being back out there, especially like when I was running the ball a little bit, cutting a little bit. I haven't practiced since December, right for the bowl game, last practice I had, so I'm super excited.
Give him about 10 pops, and we'll pop it off, and then head into the pool.
Okay. Okay, got you.
We'll go 30 seconds. We'll go jog, off, okay? All right? Lift up. Loosen them up, keep the legs moving in the water. Let me know what speed you want. Go a little faster.
Some days you don't want to do rehab, especially not 2 times a day. So getting up every single day doing rehab, knowing it's a bigger goal. I'm always the type that likes to be on go, and it kind of like forced me to slow down and really look within myself. I'm really hard on myself, so it allowed me to go back to last season, you know, really be honest with myself, look myself in the mirror, like I need to get better here, here, and here.
And now we are joined by Derrick King, Canes quarterback and a Heisman candidate, too. Last time we saw you, though, you tore your ACL in the bowl game against Oklahoma State. You mentioned on media days a couple weeks ago that you are 100%. We're now 2 weeks into camp. Yep. How does your body feel? How does your leg feel?
I feel good. You know, thank God for that, right? I feel pretty good. You know, still taking it day by day, still rehabbing every single day. I'll probably do that all year. But right now I feel 100%. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I was talking to your trainer, Vinny, and Vinny said that you started prehabbing like the day of, almost the day after the injury before the surgery. So you've been working at it a long time. He said game day Alabama would be 8 months to the very day.
Yep.
So tell me about the prehab before the...
Yeah, you know, came back down to Miami from Orlando and found out my torn ACL, right? Got confirmed, and I immediately started prehabbing. I think that night when we got back to Miami, started prehabbing, and Benny was working on me. Right. Jeff, our old PT, was working on me, and we're just trying to get ready for surgery. You know, prehab is really important for post-surgery, so you got to do all the right stuff.
Right. So now you're back with the guys, getting things done. Almost all your receiving corps is back.
Yep.
I know at tight end, Brevin Jordan's gone, and Will Mallory's there to stand in there. But there's a couple names I've been hearing making some noise in Smith and Rambo.
Yep.
Just talk about them and maybe tell me a little bit about how's it going with the receiving corps.
Yeah, I think it's going well. Like you said, everybody's back. All the receivers are back from last year's team. Only guy we missing is Brevin, who's tight end. But, you know, Keyshawn Smith and, you know, Rambo, they added a really good element to the team. Both of those guys are really fast, really long. They can go out there, you know, make contested catches. They can spread the field, which is always a positive for the offense. So I'm really excited to play with those guys this year.
Now, your O-line, I know they've been putting things together and a lot of experience in that group. How have they been doing?
I think the O-line has done a really good job all camp. You know, we have a lot of depth there, a lot of older guys. I think we might have one of the oldest O-lines in the country. You know, Corey Gaynor leading that center. You know, Jared Williams, Scaife, Big Von, everybody's back. So Zion, he's really good as well. So having all these guys, it's a comfort for me. You know, being back there, sitting back there in the pocket, and being able to throw the ball, it's always a plus.
Awesome.
Yeah. Besides Minnesota, you have the most starts of any line in the country. Coaches mentioned all the guys coming back in the skill positions, but also Rhett Lashley. You haven't had an offensive coordinator be the same person since high school. Yeah. So what's that like to have the same person talking to you, the same quarterback coach, that continuity from a coaching standpoint?
It's crazy to me. You know, like you said, it's my first time in college football having the same offense 2 years in a row, which is
it's insane. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, which is like, to me, I don't have to go in spring ball and camp and learn a new system, right? I can just fine-tune the things that we weren't good at last year and trying to make the things we were good better. So a lot of focus has been, you know, just tweaking a little bit, not changing the whole offense, and just focusing on everything that I needed to improve on this year, which is a big plus having Coach Lashley back. And me and him kind of on the same page. I think it's really important for the quarterback and offensive coordinator to be on the same page. I can know when he calls a play, what he's thinking in his play. You know what I mean? So all that is really good. I'm excited to play in the same system.
One of the things I love that you guys do is everybody runs some form of play-action pass. You're going to fake the ball to the back, drop back in the pocket, throw the ball, whatever it may be. It might be bootleg action, whatever. But you guys will fake a quarterback run.
Yeah.
So the defense is already in trouble as it is with the numbers game. Yeah. And all of a sudden there's a threat of you deciding to run the ball and they start coming to you, and then all of a sudden somebody's wide open down the field. I've never seen so many easy touchdown passes because of the scheme that you guys use, because of the way you can run.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, Coach Lashley and, you know, Coach Brewer, they do a really good job all week trying to find ways to get open touchdowns. Yeah. And, you know, usually when they call it, it's the right look. You know, I think the threat of me running the ball helps the linebackers pull up and to get wide open touchdowns. I mean, you can't ask for anything better as a quarterback than throwing this guy wide open. Yeah.
Social distancing at its best.
At its finest. At its finest.
That positive stuff. Yeah. In terms of, I mean, your first team you're going to play is Alabama.
Yeah.
When you think back to last year, there was obviously that Clemson game on ABC, the North Carolina game. They were big games where I know you guys didn't play to the level you would have wanted to.
Yep.
How important is this Alabama game, not just for the season, but for the program as you're trying to get the U back to where people want it to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important. There's no better way to open up a season playing the best team, the defending national champs. The best head coach of all time. One of the best teams of my lifetime. So playing those guys, it's a really big challenge. Week one, but it's gonna test us. We have a lot of older guys, playing a lot of big games, and for us as a program, we want to take that next step. Playing well in the big games, not having a game too big, not letting the moment become too big for us. And I think just having, like you said, a lot of experienced guys and same coaching staff and coming back from a year ago, I think that should help us. We got to go out there and play our best, right? Playing, like I said, one of the best teams. It's going to be a really good defense. All those guys coming back, so I'm excited to play those guys in Atlanta.
One of the teams I coached, one of the best teams I ever coached, had a group of seniors that decided to stay. They all could have gone pro. They decided to stay. It started, with the leader like yourself, and I'm proud of what you're doing, and it made it very contagious for your teammates to want to be a part of this thing.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Great stuff, Derrick King, the quarterback, also a great businessman, too. We couldn't get all the NIL deals right now, entrepreneurial. We'll talk about that later in the season, I'm sure, but good luck with the rest of camp on September 4th against Alabama.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Good job, man.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
All right, let's turn our attention now to the defense of the Canes. They returned a lot of production. Jalen Phillips, Quincy Roche are gone, but there's a lot of dudes that can really ball in this squad. And you see how many guys have logged a lot of time on the field, and one of those guys, now it says DE in his position, defensive end. He's played linebacker, he's played striker, now a defensive lineman. Zach McLeod joins us, 6-year guy. You've been here for quite some time. You've been here. Coach recruited you. Yeah. He's going to ask some of these questions, but I want to start here in this building we're in. This facility is fantastic, but when you came here, this didn't exist yet.
No.
How has this changed your life and your ability to prepare to be a player?
I mean, I can practice in this all day. You know what I'm saying? that heat puts some limits on you, so I can only do so much out there for so long. But in here, this building, this environment is a perfect place for me to grow as a player.
When I first looked at you, I saw the body first, and I was like, I don't recognize this guy when I saw the face. But what'd you weigh coming out of high school?
I'm out of high school. Probably touching 200 pounds, soaking wet with bricks in my pocket.
But 200 pounds, now you weigh how much?
About 250.
250.
Yeah.
You look great. How does it feel to be able to get as big as you want?
I feel strong. I feel good, out there messing around with those tackles. And if I was 200 pounds, they'd probably be tossing me around. So thank God for Coach Philly, everybody that helped me get to this point.
Right. Now, you came in with Shaq and Pinckney. Do you keep up with those guys, or who do you keep up with the most?
Yeah, those guys, Joe Jackson, Pat Bethel. I got a good group of guys that, mainly the ones that I was in the dorms with.
Right.
Shaq, Mike, Pat, and Joe, but just, really we're all a big family. So those guys, pretty consistent talking to those guys.
What's been the most difficult part of the transition to playing defensive end, and what have you enjoyed most about that change?
Most difficult part of it, it's a big man in my face all the time. All the time, he's right there, linebacker, and I kind of watch him and sift through the trash and get through the traffic that way. But DN is right there. I'm hands on him right now, and I'd say that's the most difficult part of it. But at the same time, that's also like what makes it so fun. I'm right there, and it's a one-on-one battle all the time. Unless somebody comes and double team me, I get chipped or whatever. But for the most part, if
you're getting chipped, you're doing your job.
Oh, yeah.
If they respect you enough to start chipping you.
Yeah, I told them I got something for them when they start doing that. So they leave me alone and practice about it.
Now, not to give away any game plan, but I know your hands on the ground most of the time. They still do a little fire zone, let you drop out in coverage every once in a while?
Yeah. When the opportunity calls for it, we want to change it up every now and then. But, I like to stand up and rush, or I got to switch it up, because if I'm standing up only when I'm dropping, then it's a dead giveaway.
True.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How much do you think about September 4th and playing Alabama?
Think about it. That's on my mind every day. I come to this building every day. I wake up, it's on my mind. I go to sleep, it's on my mind. I have dreams about it, So it's, it's there, right there, all the time.
Let me ask you this. We know how Derrick came in and became that leader of the offensive side of the ball. I know you're one of the leaders, or you wouldn't be sitting in the chair right now, but who else is handling the leadership on the defensive side?
Say Amari Carter, Bubba Bolden. We got a few guys in the D-line. It's every position room has a guy or two that could really take it over for the group, and that's really what we need for the type of team that we have right now, the type of players that we have. You got to have a lot of guys with you to be able to take over and make sure things are headed in the right direction. It can't just be one person. I'm not in every meeting.
Now, I know that, Jalen left and Roche left and Rousseau left the year before.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, who's going to provide the edge pressure? Who's going to put pressure on the quarterback? I mean, is it going to be more by committee, or is there any individual that's going to do some nasty work?
You mean other than me? Oh, you say other than me? Right.
I was letting you toot your horn a little bit.
I don't toot my horn too much now. But, I'll say this. We're a more coordinated rush type team right now. We do things together, and I think it works out better for the team that way. But, of course, we have individuals that can shine and take it over when they need to.
Awesome.
Individual talent, as you mentioned, too, a lot of leadership on this club, which makes it, I think a lot of people are excited to see this team get out there on September 4th against Alabama. Zach, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Zach. Great seeing you.
Appreciate you. Good to see you again.
Coming up next, we're joined by the athletic director, Blake James, who's got a special surprise for us. I'm not even sure what it is, but I told him I'm going to be very excited. That's up next. Welcome back to the ACC football road trip here in Miami, Coral Gables, Florida to be specific. That is the Carol Sofer indoor practice facility. That is the exterior views, and facilities are so critical in college sports, and Coach Richt was instrumental in getting this built and opened in 2018 to give this program a facility commensurate with its history. Here's Coach giving you a little tour.
Hey, it's Coach Richt here. I'm going to show you a little tour of the University of Miami Richt Athletic Center, and we're going to go down this national championship hallway. We got 1983 right here, which I missed by 1 year. I finished in 82, but we built the foundation for 83. And we got 87, 89. Of course, the great team in 91. We got 2001, the last national championship. Now this is where we bring the recruits in. The University of Miami has an unbelievable legacy of NFL players over the years, and these are just some of the picks. 277 picks, 58 first-rounders, Super Bowl appearances, Pro Bowl selections, 151. Not many schools in America can match that. And here's just some of the yardage, receiving yardage, passing yardage, rushing yardage, takeaways of guys from Miami that have been in the league. And then right here we've got all the guys that made a 53-man roster at one time and played. So starting in the 60s in the back, working our way to the front, got the guys that are most current in making it with KJ Osborne and Shaquille Quarterman, Big Shaq, working our way down here. But it's a great, you got to do it digitally now because there's so many you got to keep at. It looks like we're running out of room. All right, now we're going to work our way down the hallway for our coaches' offices and the player meeting rooms. For example, this is the running backs meeting room, and right here we got, you're going to put some of the greats on the outside of the wall. Well, who do you pick? There's like 1 million of them. So we had a lot of angst trying to figure out who to put where, but we put Portis, Edgerrin James, and Frank Gore. But then on the inside, this running back meeting room, we got McGahee and Duke Johnson and Alonzo Highsmith. So that's pretty good. And there's still other greats, and I don't know how well you can see, but this wallpaper, you could barely see names. Those are other names of players that played the position all around the room. So if they're like, hey, you didn't have my name in here, Coach, I'll say, look right here. You can barely see it, but it's right here. So anyway, that's what we do with the rooms. All right, let's go on down. Now across the way is the coaches' offices, and they oversee the indoor as well as we're working our way down. So you got your wide receiver meeting rooms. Got your wide receiver coach, that makes sense. All right, you got your tight end meeting room. And then who do you put there? You got Shockey, Bubba Franks, Greg Olson, but there's a bunch of more greats on the inside. You got D-line, again, who do you put there? So many great ones. And again, the coaches' offices on this side. Got your outside linebackers. You got your DBs. I mean, look at the safeties room. You got Ed Reed, Benny Blades, and Sean Taylor. I mean, that's probably every one of them in the College and Pro Football Hall of Fame. Got your safeties there. Got your linebackers here, obviously. Vilma, Ray Lewis, of course, Dan Morgan, College all Hall of Famer, with more coaches' meeting rooms. And then, of course, here, if you could see, I don't know how well you could see down here, but we have a long field, which we're going to see here in a minute, and we got a short field here. This short field is used for the offensive, defensive linemen to do their drill work. It connects right into the weight room, which we'll probably get to see here in just a second. So we're in the heart of the Coral Gables Indoor Practice Facility, standing on the Robert Finizzi family field. And you can see up high, all these banners represent All-Americans over the years. I think there's like 72 of them right now. Just added Borregales and Jalen Phillips. Of course, you can see, you can get to the practice field by opening up the gate. And then right here, you can see the beautiful graphics that Adidas did a great job of sponsoring the imaging along there. And then on this wall here, you could see the College Football Hall of Fame and NFL Football Hall of Famers that played at the U. And of course, again, there's the short field, goes right into the weight room. And again, this field goes right out into the practice field. So if you're out there practicing and lightning strikes or you hear the horn blow, you could sprint right in here, keep your cleats on, and keep working. It's been a godsend to get this facility.
We're now here with AD Blake James. I want to ask you about this beautiful facility, and we just had a little tour with Coach, but you came bearing gifts. Let's focus on that. What do you got here?
Well, welcome to South Florida. Welcome to Miami. Figured we have a Cuban food out here for you today. So we have Havana Harry's. I know it's one of Mark's favorite spots to go eat. So we got Cuban sandwiches, some empanadas, croquetas.
Coach, are you going to indulge? Because I am.
I'm trying to make these better.
There we go.
There we go.
I'll be honest with you. When I landed yesterday, I went straight to Havana Harry's and my chicken vodka frita. It was amazing. Guess what I had for breakfast?
A little more chicken vodka frita.
A little more chicken vodka frita, because they give you enough to feed three families. It's so good.
That's tremendous.
Well, good. Great to have you guys here with us.
This is not on my diet.
Me neither, but this is phenomenal. I've had the paella at Havana Harry's before. That put me out of commission for like 12 hours. I ate the whole thing. Let's ask you about this facility. It is amazing. Coach, I know how influential you were in building this. And what has this done for your program since having this in 2018?
It's been a game changer. It's hard to believe that it's only since 2018 that we had it. Now that we have it, it's such a integral part of what we do. And as you touched on, Mark was so instrumental in making this happen for our program. I remember the day we hired him, I think we started talking about it, and to have that day come in August where we dedicated it was just a real special day for our program. And Mark put a lot of the real fine touches on this that made it the world-class facility it is.
Well, you allowed me to spend time with the superintendent of the project, Carlos Pedron. Carlos and I became best friends. Literally, we have our morning meetings, practices in the morning. By dinner time, late evening, we're going home to call it a day. But I'd always come through and see Carlos, and I'd walk the yard with him, and he would tell me about this or tell me about that or ask me about this or that. And just for you to allow me to have that input to get it the way we wanted to meant so much to me as well.
I don't know if Coach saw this real quick. Coach, these are like your doodles.
Oh, yeah.
This is like your vision. And they found this. Check it out. Like this is what he wanted to put together. You're like the flux capacitor with Doc Brown. This is what you wrote, that you drew, and now look behind us. It's come to fruition.
Well, one night, Ed Hudak, Don Bailey, and myself came out here in the middle of the night and I started pacing off yardage to see if there's enough distance to put an indoor here. And I'm like, there's just enough room. I mean, those poles are almost in the canal over there.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a lot of fun to dream it, and then it came true. And, of course, the Sofer family and the Finizio family were a big part of making it happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen without great support. And as Mark touched on, the Coral Sofer facility, obviously the Sofer family, and was instrumental in making this happen. But so many other of our supporters really stepped up. They recognized the need for our program. As crazy as it sounds, being in South Florida, we needed this facility from a lightning perspective as much as anything. But also what we found is just the heat, getting the guys out of the heat on occasion as well, I think has been helpful to them just being able to have the stamina to go. And so it's been a win for our football program, obviously. but that's trickled over into so many of our other programs. Are able to use this facility both from a practice perspective and then our strength and conditioning program, getting guys out and women out here using it from that perspective.
You know, the other thing it saves is your grass. You know, if you're on the grass the whole time and you flex every day on the grass, you would just wear holes in your grass. But, you know, to do your flex in here, do your specialty work, do the drills that tear up grass in here, and then move outside, it keeps your grass good too. So I was into all that good stuff.
And again, a game changer for us. To answer your question, it's just been a real game changer for us, and obviously Coach was a big part of that. And thank you.
Well, let me ask you this: changing subjects, the NIL. I know it's been a big topic, and no one's really got their arms around it yet. But you know, as a football coach, you're obviously worried about your players and how it affects your team. But as an AD, it's all the student athletes. I mean, how are you managing that?
We're still working through it. Again, we're not even 2 months in, and have to credit our compliance staff. Craig Anderson and his team did a great job of getting things ready. We've kind of created a position with Tim Brogdon where he's our go-to guy in NIL on campus. Florida's leadership was out in front of it and getting it going, and obviously we had time to understand the Florida law, and I think that was a real benefit for us. I do think there's the need for national legislation, and hopefully we'll get that just so we're all playing by the same rules, because you have so many different things going on right now. But as the athletic director, you're looking at it, and again, you have, as you know, Mark, 400 and some student athletes, and they're all able to capitalize on these opportunities now, and it's making sure that they're following the law, because this isn't no longer an NCAA rule.
Right.
This is the law, and you want to make sure they're doing that. But I think 2 months in, it's going about as well as we could have hoped for.
I've always said my priorities as a player was girls, football, and then school. Now it's money, girls, football, school. So hopefully the coaches can manage that.
And guys are going to have to balance. I think that's one of the things we're working on. I know all of my colleagues are, is the educational aspect of it, making sure that the young people, as they've been given this opportunity to monetize their name, image, and likeness, really are able to take advantage of it and not, run into some of the pitfalls of maybe what these situations could create for them.
Can I say one more thing on that? I think silver lining is going to be the behavior of the players. I mean, if I've got a deal where I'm going to make $50,000 or whatever it may be, and I know if I act like an idiot and do something stupid in public or do something stupid on social media, I might lose the deal. I might think twice before doing that dumb thing that guys tend to do 18 to 22. So it might be a silver lining in how people behave.
That very well could be, because, again, we talk with them about that all the time. Once you put the U on, it never comes off. And how do they strengthen their brand? And through the years, the social media has become much more prevalent, and obviously what they can do individually with their brands now is significant. Right. To be able to capitalize on that with this new opportunity is great. But to Mark's point, if they go out and do something that's going to damage their brand, they have to recognize that could cost them dollars.
100%. That's a lot of the athletes I've spoken to as well that didn't have an entrepreneurial bent in their heads. Now it's starting to think like that, and that's going to have a lifetime impact as far as how they approach business. So it's going to be really interesting. Only a couple months in, as you said, but we'll see how it goes. Blake James, really appreciate your time, and I really, really appreciate the empanada. Havana Harris, I'm going to work as soon as you step off here. Thank you, my man.
Great to have you guys with us.
You.
Enjoy.
Thank you, Blake.
Take care.
When we come back, it's time to know your teammate. Derrick King comes back. How well does he know his wide receiver, the senior Michael Harley? They're boys, but is he going to be good in the newlyweds game? We'll explain after this.
Are you going to be in the banners? I mean, it's 3 spots left. So let's be realistic. Derrick King, Mike Harley's with it. That one.
You see where it says Ed Reed, Sean Taylor? It's going to say Bubba Bolden right there. Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, Bubba Bolden.
Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it.
I'm going to show you today.
You might.
I ain't like that, kid. No.
Come across that middle, too.
You know, that's where I make that money at.
Mike. Let me get Mike.
Oh, my God. That's a great route.
Let me get him. He got me last time.
Yeah, baby. Go play, boy.
Whoa.
I say safety, legend, GOAT, I mean, take a pick to the crib.
I hope y'all got that.
Michael Harley, the senior wide receiver, doing his thing, being funny on All Access. That'll debut tonight. We're back on the ACC Football Roadshow here in beautiful Coral Gables. Coach called it paradise earlier. Can't argue with that. I wouldn't mind living back down here immediately. With that said, let's play a game here. It's time to get the newlyweds game. So, but how well do you know your teammate? And if you look at some of the standings here, some schools have performed pretty well. Wake Forest got a 5 out of 5. UVA 5 out of 5. Some teams better than others. Some players and coaches better than others. And here are our contestants. We bring back the quarterback, Derrick King, and his teammate, wide receiver, Michael Harley. How well do you know your wide receiver is going to be the question. So here's what we're going to do in case you don't know. I will pose 5 questions to Derrick about Michael. Michael will write the correct answers here. That's no cheating. He will show the answer to the camera. We'll see what Derrick says. Derrick says if he knows his quarterback well. First question. Michael's favorite pregame music?
Little Baby.
Let's see. Little Baby is the guess. The answer is
Kodak.
Kodak Black.
Bro.
Should you've known that? Was that a brick?
Yes.
That
was an easy one. I mean, yeah.
So it's a brick. Okay. 0 for 1. Let's keep it going here. Let's see. We're going to get this thing back on track here. We're going to be 80% completion percentage.
Let's get it.
Favorite place to eat in Coral Gables? Weirdly enough, I just asked him about Brickell, a different neighborhood, but in Coral Gables, favorite place to eat?
Coral Gables. Daly Lane?
Daly Lane.
Daly Lane.
Daly Lane.
Daly, yeah. D-E-L-I.
Are you changing the answer to match up with your quarterback?
No, I was
just double checking here. We're not cheating here.
That's free. That's on that Mucho app.
He got it. All right, Daly Lane. There we go. 1 for 2. 1 for 2. Number 3. Let's take it onto the field, if you will, here. Favorite NFL wide receiver?
Oh, that's easy.
Maybe not so much for the quarterback. Contemplating.
Amari Cooper?
Amari Cooper is the guess. And the answer, this does not look good.
Close though.
South Florida guy.
Stephon Diggs. Maryland standout. All right, 1 for 3. We're going to end at 60% here. I'm being real
Ain't
positive.
nobody from South Florida.
I love Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
Good dog.
Good dog. Favorite movie?
Oh, Easy Money.
Easy Money, Michael says.
Week of the day.
I'll say Easy Money.
Day of the week.
Friday.
Boom. Don't even finish it. That's right. That's right, and it's one of the greatest movies of all time, so well done. Friday, boom, got it. 2 of 4, easy money. It's good to see that's transcended generations. The amount of hours I spent watching that movie, it's egregious, but I love it. It's phenomenal. Number 5, favorite sport behind football? It's 2 of 4 right now. We got to finish above 50% here with this answer. Interesting. That's an interesting answer.
Go track.
Track. Would you have written track if we were more explicit about the sport? Do you consider that a sport? Show them the answer. Let's show them the answer. Fishing is the answer.
Dude, that is a sport.
If you didn't say favorite hobby, I would have said fishing. You know what I mean? Like,
we've done this before. To the judges, would you have said track otherwise?
I would have said track.
To the judges, we're going 3 out of 5.
Yes.
Permanent. How well do you know your teammate?
Yeah.
Good, not great.
Yeah.
But great answer with Friday. Fellas, Derrick, Michael, we appreciate your time, man. Awesome, as always.
Thank you.
ACC football road trip continues. Of course, we'll play How Well Do You Know Your Teammate or How Well Do You Know Your Coach next up in Tallahassee, Florida State. Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern. Kelsey Riggs and the one and only former quarterback there, E.J. Manuel, will be running the show in Tallahassee. Coming up next, though, man that ran the show here, Coach Richt. Played, the coach, he's an institution here. He looms large, and it is story time with Coach Richt next. Wrapping up our ACC football road trip here at Miami, and that is Hard Rock Stadium. They will open the home opener on September 11th against App State. The game before that, of course, is Alabama on September 4th up in Georgia. Before the game, the former Georgia, the former Miami coach, the former Miami player, Coach Mark Richt, spoke to the team. Obviously still very connected to this program, connected to this university. Know it meant a lot for Coach to have that time to chat with the players. But let's have a little story time, if you will, now with Coach Richt. I mean, you coach here for years. Every coach has great stories, and you've had some big wins, some big losses, and a lot that happens when the cameras aren't here. That is quite a bit of fun. Take us through your story, like a story time that you remember being
through one of my most favorite times while here at Miami. You know, year one, 2016, we win 4 in a row. Then we lose 4 in a row. Then we win 5 in a row. So we got a little momentum going into the second year in 2017, and so we get to where we become 8-0. And we're getting in the rankings. People are starting to talk about us for the college football playoff. And then finally, we play Virginia Tech at home, and they're ranked pretty high. And we go ahead and play a really good game to the point where the music broke out. We had J-Lo and A-Rod dancing it. Everybody's dancing in this. It was like we had a party at Hard Rock and a football game broke out. So anyway, then the next week, game day decides to show up, because we're going to play Notre Dame, who's in the top 5. So we play Notre Dame, and every single thing went right. Starting with game day at the swimming pool, the fans were there, the excitement was there, and I know our president, Julio Frank, he's like, now I get why football is important. All that free airtime, but we had a wonderful game. I think we're up, 20-something to nothing at halftime, and put a shocker to them.
It's funny, I remember that game as a fan, because I grew up, I loved Miami. I grew up in Pittsburgh, but we weren't necessarily Pitt fans. I'm sorry to the ACC. Parents went to Duquesne. Love the city. But when I was watching that game, I was like all juiced up pregame.
Right.
And it was such a beating. It was just like, I mean, you guys were partying through that game. It's a great story, I'm sure, a great memory. You've just written a book, though, with more stories, more memories, more insight, more knowledge.
Right.
Tell us some more about that.
Well, I've got a book. It's called Make the Call, and it's kind of a play on words. If you're a play caller in football, every 40 seconds you got to make the call. As a head coach, you're making calls all throughout the game and throughout recruiting and everything else. But making the call is really, it's about making decisions in life. So we all have decisions to make. And I just give kind of behind the scenes look at some of the decisions I made over the years. Some really good ones and some not so good. Some had to do with football, some had to do with family, some had to do with faith. And it's just a book where, in the end, I think the reader's going to get a chance to make the ultimate call. And so I'll let everybody read it to find out.
I'm looking forward to it. You sent it to me. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And I remember opening up like, Coach wrote a book. I can't wait to read this. So when I get home, after these travails here, these travels, I'm going to dive into the book. Let's dive into the schedule now. Miami starts, as we've talked about over and over again. They're playing Alabama September 4th, but they play 4 non-conference opponents to start the season. Mentioned that App State game, Michigan State, Mel Tucker taking over there in his second year. No cakewalk there, although be it at home. And then Central Connecticut at home as well. What jumps out to you here?
Right. Well, I mean, obviously Bama's a huge game, and it means a lot, and all games matter.
Yeah.
But the thing I like about it is it sets up for them to be really ready for ACC play. Game 5, you play Virginia, and then you have an open date, and I think you play North Carolina at North Carolina. So, you want to be mid-season form by the time you get into conference play. They'll be in Game 5, so no matter what happened, good or bad in Alabama, you got the next 3 games to get yourself in position to hit the ground running in the league. So that's one of the reasons why I'm picking them to win the Coastal.
You've got them to win the Coastal. You mentioned that Carolina game is going to be huge in that situation. But let's get back to Alabama, though, because it is, I mean, everybody's going to be watching that game. It's two of the biggest brands in college football. Miami's got Derrick King, a Heisman candidate that's coming back off of injury. Alabama's Alabama, defending national champs. You said good or bad. Let's be positive here.
Okay.
What if they win or compete? If they keep this thing close.
No, let's say if they win.
If they win. All right, let's forget it. Let's go. If they win.
Right.
What does that mean for Miami football? What does it mean for the league?
Well, here's what it means. It means, first of all, Manny Diaz is going to be the mayor of Miami, just like his dad was for the rest of his life. But no, I think when people want to say, is Miami back, if you win a game like that, then you can legitimately say, maybe these guys are back. And then you got to just be able to keep from getting too crazy about what happened and keep your mind straight, because App State is a team that wins a lot of games. Michigan State's going to be no joke. And then you got league play. So I think it would be kind of a dream come true, maybe a little bit like us beating down Notre Dame like the way we did. If they just win by 1, I think it'd be a massive upset, and truly a game changer, a defining moment for Coach Diaz and the University of Miami program.
Coaches always talk about program wins. That's like the ultimate program win, an out-of-conference game, a win over Alabama.
True.
We'll find out if they can do it. Thanks for keeping me positive. We don't need this whole if it's good or bad. September 4th, if they win, that will change a lot for them and the ACC as we move forward. We move forward the ACC football road trip to Florida State Wednesday night for Coach Richt. Awesome being with you here at your alma mater. I'm Dallin Cuff. Later.